Hi everybody, Karis here, and today is the day before Halloween 2014, so all these really interesting energies are in the air, and I had noticed a pattern coming up in my clients and my friends for the past 2 months maybe, a little bit longer maybe, and what I discovered was that this was something that a lot of people are experiencing at once, and Sophia came to say hello, hi, but she's hunting, she's not interested in being in front of the camera, I guess. Okay, so anyway, I've noticed this in friends and in clients, and I was thinking about doing a video on it, and then a friend asked me to. So there you go. That was the final confirmation that I needed. And it's taken me a while to really sort this out because it's very important for me not to vilify anybody in this situation, not to say that any person, place, or thing is wrong or bad. It's just that sometimes things work out for a while and then you outgrow them. It's like a plant in a pot, a potted plant. And if you don't take it out early enough, what ends up happening is when you finally do take it out to move it into a larger pot or put it in the ground, all the roots are tangled and filling up the pot and kind of eating each other. And that is not what you want, right? So what ends up happening in these prisons of the mind and heart, which is what this video is about, is that at one point, a certain situation, so it could be the mind, it could be anything having to do with the mind, right? I'm not centering in on any one specific scenario here. It could be a job, a school, a employee-employer relationship, any of that kind of stuff. It could also be relationships like love-based, parent-child, sibling, other types of family, romance. And when I talk about children, I don't mean little children. I don't mean children who need to be cared for. I mean adults, when everyone in this situation is an adult. And so what ends up happening is our energy lines connect to each other because it feels good and because it's healing for both of us and it's activating and loving for both of us, whoever the both is, maybe more than two. And then what ends up happening is that sometimes, just because of either past trauma or incorrect understanding of whatever the situation is, how it works, because our culture does teach us that codependency is love, or whatever other reasons, the situation gets constrained. Because when you talk about taking anything out, when you talk about detoxing from anything, whether it be physical or energetic, just like the trash in your house, the trash in your body was not always trash. It was trash in your energy field was not always trash. Once it was needed there, and it's just outlived its usefulness. And so that means it's time to transform into something else. And so the reason that we stay stuck in these prisons is usually fear-based, trauma-based. It's often because both people think that the way that the situation currently is the way that it must be in order for everyone to survive well, in order for everyone to feel good. And something that I've been telling people over and over the past couple months, I've been seeing this thing come up over and over, this same situation, is that if you stay because you're afraid of what's going to happen if you leave, whether you're the one leaving or you're the one who's being left, right, in whatever situation it is, if you stay because you're afraid of what's going to happen, A, it's not actually helpful. That's not a reason to stay. In fact, it's usually more of a reason to go. And B, you won't actually escape this negative thing you're shutting your world down to escape. It's going to come around and get you, and it's going to be worse next time. And by get you, I don't mean someone actually getting you. I mean heartbreak, or I mean disappointment, or I mean struggle to learn some type of thing that you were trying to learn, which is why you're in this situation in the first place. Something else I've said lots and lots, because I'm talking about a situation here where everyone is an adult. And usually the people who I end up talking to are the ones who are constrained by the mental or heart prison that they've put themselves in, but that it's been a unified effort to do, not intentionally, not vilifying anyone, just because unhealthy relationships sometimes get that way when we're not looking. If we knew they were unhealthy, we wouldn't be in them in the first place. So it's clearly something that you have to kind of wake up to and then realize what's going on. And so the thing I've been saying over and over is, if you feel like you're responsible for another adult's well-being, they're an adult. They can take care of themselves. We all can. And so that's not a reason to stay, you guys. It's actually more of the opposite. So how to do this with love, how to do it with balance and compassion on both sides. If you're the one who someone is needing to spread their wings and have more space from, or if you're the one who's needing to have more space, the way to do it is being completely honest about the way you feel, but never asking someone else to do something or not to do something because you will feel better. That's imprisoning them. It's harsh, but it's what I've experienced to be true and what I've observed and what I've experienced before in my life. So in the end, staying because of that only enables, because you wouldn't be in the situation in the first place if there weren't some addictive stuff going on. It doesn't actually heal. And so, like I said, it's going to come back around again and be harsher to learn the next time. So, in honor of this time of the year when everything's flying around and everyone's so into the shadow, and people who don't usually let their shadowy parts out can let them out, this is the perfect time to talk about getting out of these prisons, because that's why shadowy parts act like shadowy parts, is because they've been shoved into places that are too small for them. So, all the more reason to free yourself. There are a couple ways, a couple techniques to use to do this. One of them is an affirmation, the other one is a visualization. And the affirmation, which I've spoken about before, has always been, and it can get shifted if something about it doesn't feel right to you, if you want to enhance it some way, is addressing the universe, the universal consciousness. This is a fractal universe, which means since we're conscious, that means that all of it is conscious, because things just keep getting bigger and smaller, but they're somewhat identical copies of themselves in different realms and ways. The idea is to address the universe as a consciousness and say, change anything and everything, so long as the change is beneficial in the end, and so long as the actual change feels good for me and for everyone else involved in this situation. And the second one is a visualization that you go through, and you just imagine a doorway in front of you, and that beyond the doorway it's just pure light, and the light can represent whatever it is that you're looking for, that you're wanting, or that you're feeling calling you. And you just, in your imagination, walk through the doorway and just be in the light and let yourself kind of dissolve into it. And once the light is completely all of your consciousness, you just come back here to the physical world and continue on with your day. It's an easy visualization, but it can give you the extra energy you need to kind of push yourself off and get whatever the next stage of your evolution is on its way. So again, not saying anyone's bad, not saying anyone's wrong, just saying that we get stuck in these situations because we're afraid of what will happen if we're not there. But that's not the way this universe works. Whenever you don't do something for fear, that's usually when whatever you're afraid of will come back around. But also, it's important to know that usually the absolute worst case scenario doesn't actually happen. Usually the absolute best case scenario doesn't actually happen. Usually what happens is something in the middle, and that depends on what you're putting out with your thoughts, yes, but also with your words and your actions, and what you are telling the universe that you are willing to accept as appropriate treatment and as appropriate situations for you to find yourself in, and also what you're telling the universe you're willing to give. So if you're on either side of this issue, freeing yourself is the way to go. And now you know why to do it, and also how to do it, or at least a couple of ways. So good luck on that. Happy Samhain or Halloween to you, because this is an ancient time of year that everyone has celebrated all over the planet in kind of similar ways. So it's fun to bring that into our modern society in ways that feel good to us now. All right, guys, much love. Go in peace, and I will see you on the outside.